Hello, out in video land. We are here to tell you what we're doing in lab. It's going to be due on Friday, and the requirements for the lab write-up are this. Let's see if anyone had their sheet. We can show them.
My sheet.
I have my sheet.
I got one. Oh, yeah. All right, is it showing up in the screen? Up, up, up.
Okay, yeah.
All right. Here's all the requirements, so you can pause it and read them. And basically, there are so many parts to it. There are 4 parts. The first one is the summary. So the summary is where you write in your own words what we did. So what did I say I would do with some of your summaries, Joel? Who would I give them to?
Mrs. Stone.
All right, I'm going to give them to somebody, and she's going to read them, or he's going to read them. It'll probably be a person who wouldn't be a science teacher that I would give them to, and they would read the summaries, and the summary has to tell them what you did. They can understand what happened in lab. So, but without great detail, a general summary of what you did. For example, I tilted the table, I raised the table in one end. Don't say I raised the table, I get that every year, because someone reads it and they think you just raised the whole thing. So make sure you say I raised the table in one end. Creating a ramp, I marked the ramp and a halfway point. I timed the ball from the top to the middle to the end, so on and so on. So you describe in your own words what you did without unnecessary detail. Then follows data and calculations. Those came from when you timed it, took some averages, and then calculated some velocities. Results, that's where you do your conclusions. In the part 1, do you call what I'm expecting? What am I expecting you to say about velocity 1, 2, and 3? Do you remember? Bree, do you remember what we were supposed to say about velocity 1, 2, and 3 in the first part of our lab?
We were supposed to average them.
Right, well, we average the time to find the velocities, but once you found velocity at the top of the board, velocity at the bottom of the board, velocity of the whole board, what were we supposed to do with those 3, Andrew? That's going to show up in your summary. That's why we're discussing it, so you get this part well. Bree, back to you. Oh, I thought your hand was up. Yeah.
Okay, so the top one, V1 should be slower than V2, and then V3 should be the middle.
Right, so that's our summary, and hopefully that you include that in your summary. And then indicate somewhere in the summary that we calculated average velocities. So we had a distance over a time, which was an average velocity. So that's your summary for part 1. Part 2, we were doing something a little differently. We weren't making any calculations. We were taking down data and graphing it. Do you recall why? Why were we doing that? Dan, why were we graphing? Did you get to that part yet?
The graphing with the triangles?
Yeah. Why were we doing, we were putting time along here, and we were putting distance along here. So we ended up with some sort of graph. I don't know what you had. Maybe it was like this. So what was our goal at that point, Dan?
When you draw the triangles,
What are we finding?
the velocity,
All right, and not only velocity,
the
but
instantaneous.
right. So your summary should include that instantaneous velocities were found, and you can say something about them, like they were increasing and then they decreased or whatever. I only asked you to take 3 random points and do 3 of those. Yes.
I know that me and Morgan had the same data, and we made all of our distances equal, so I don't
That's
know if
okay.
it's okay.
Yeah, that's fine, because I think everyone did that, so that's fine. It's the times that are going to be different. But I needed time on this axis, so it's a little different than our graphs often are, but it'll work. All right, and principles used. We have to think of all the principles we learned from class including, what was it? We're gonna do sig figs, calculations, precision, units. We're gonna use our velocity formula. Can you think of anything else?
You said to try and use 4.
I know, we do rise over run, we do slope, that's definitely a concept, so don't leave slope out of it. Average velocity, instantaneous velocity, I think those are the main ones, but if you can think of any more, put them in the list. And that's a list, it doesn't have to be in paragraph form. And lastly, I noted on this sheet that everything that's in writing comes to the school through any class is supposed to be evaluated for grammar and spelling, and so that's, and neatness and all that, and that is indicated on here. Here's what, you've probably seen this before, and is it showing up? All right, those are all the ways I have to grade your writing. So, looking for spelling, grammar, punctuation, all that. All right, so lab is over. Oh, no, it's not. What?
For this that we're doing, do you want one lab that has from both, from trial 1 or from the first thing
One
and the
lab
second
can
one?
be in both parts.
Okay.
Yeah. All righty, questions else? All right, lab concludes. All right, I don't know if I need anything else taped. What else did we do yesterday? We started on velocity.
Should I stop it?
Yeah, just wait a second. I'm trying to decide.
Yes,
We talked about, they are gonna be reading the chapter, so I don't think they need to see this part on relative velocity. So I think that's all I promised them, is to put this lab stuff up. So, over and out. Bye, hope you're having a good time.
Here, you guys
Thank
can
you.
be in there.
Saw the.
Wait, you gotta press.
Yeah.